아리룽진 칸기 리림 신스난기 용라 참디쇼 nga 트링기 딸 리림데 토니슈게 린진이 따 지게 대외 니장 가시지 링라 아메리게 신진 지dwi 쳬비 소바 리퍼블리칸 파티 쇼와 슈그로와 지dwi 쳬비 소바기 기용 트조기 칸다 청좀 촉진지 요래 촉진데 아메리게 위스콘신 기 총케 밀워키 나와 초요래 따 니장 시기 촉진데 다 드림 죽 지기 요래 촉진기 죽라 죽 집에 값소 아메리게 지륜 첩이 속배 신지 유미 90전원 첨기 촉진라 땀시식 낭자 요래 땅아주 룽진 칸기 타게당 아니 모뎃 탈람토네 신지 전원 첨기 촉진라 땀시 나와 차창와지 경승 쉬어 탑시치기 90전원 첨기 촉진라 땀시 차창와 두배 지수 50 첨기 담시엔 나와 딘준난게 낭드 조치와 같이 나도룽진 칸기 좀지바 로산시라 된 슈치네 리미슈에게 탑시치게 다 촉진데 다워디 치지 주용안에 쪽게보도 초구열의 촉진값보다 아메리게 최소투미 다 망아지 지륜 속백의 최소투미 아니 나데카기 시경 대가나신 미망 규마라 속바다 마부지기 담시난소 다 드링 촉진디 값소 다 조데 지륜 속백이 아메리게 나데카기 구접츠기 다 신지 도널드 트럼프 지륜 속백이 신지 유미라 딤되다 때문에 게 요래 디담단의 신지 트럼프기 흉디기 통해다 지륜 칩이 속백이 신지 유미 남규 킬리시시디에 트레이닝 것도 나머지게 신지 도널드 트럼프 초기 미망도라 숭신낭베 디직게 태동식인다.
Thank you, Lee, right from the beginning. Thank you very much. What a talent. What a beautiful, beautiful song. Thank you. Friends, delegates, and fellow citizens, I stand before you this evening with a message of confidence, strength, and hope. 4 months from now, we will have an incredible victory, and we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. Together we will launch a new era of safety, prosperity, and freedom for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. The discord and division in our society must be healed. We must heal it quickly. As Americans, we are bound together by a single fate and a shared destiny. We rise together or we fall apart. I am running to be president for all of America, not half of America, because there is no victory in winning for half of America. So tonight, with faith and devotion, I proudly accept your nomination for President of the United States. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we will do it right. We're going to do it right. Let me begin this evening by expressing my gratitude to the American people for your outpouring of love and support following the assassination attempt at my rally on Saturday. As you already know, the assassin's bullet came within a quarter of an inch of taking my life. So many people have asked me, what happened? Tell us what happened, please. And therefore, I will tell you exactly what happened, and you'll never hear it from me a second time because it's actually too painful to tell. It was a warm, beautiful day in the early evening in Butler Township in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Music was loudly playing, and the campaign was doing really well. I went to the stage, and the crowd was cheering wildly. Everybody was happy. I began speaking very strongly, powerfully, and happily, because I was discussing the great job my administration did on immigration at the southern border. We were very proud of it. Behind me and to the right was a large screen that was displaying a chart of border crossings under my leadership. The numbers were absolutely amazing. In order to see the chart, I started to, like this, turn to my right and was ready to begin a little bit further turn, which I'm very lucky I didn't do, when I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really, really hard on my right ear. I said to myself, wow, what was that? It can only be a bullet. And moved my right hand to my ear, brought it down. My hand was covered with blood, just absolutely blood all over the place. I immediately knew it was very serious, that we were under attack, and in one movement proceeded to drop to the ground. Bullets were continuing to fly as very brave Secret Service agents rushed to the stage, and they really did, they rushed to the stage. They knew I said, why is there so much blood? He said, it's the ears, they bleed more. So we learned something, but they just They just, this beautiful crowd, they didn't want to leave me. They knew I was in trouble. They didn't want to leave me. And you can see that love written all over their faces. Incredible people. They're incredible people. Bullets were flying over us, yet I felt serene. But now the Secret Service agents were putting themselves in peril. They were in very dangerous territory. Bullets were flying right over them, missing them by a very small amount of inches. And then it all stopped. Our Secret Service sniper, from a much greater distance and with only one bullet used, took the assassin's life, took him out. I'm not supposed to be here tonight. Not supposed to be here. No. Thank you. But I'm not. And I'll tell you, I stand before you in this arena only by the grace of Almighty God. In watching the reports over the last few days, many people say it was a providential moment. Probably was. When I rose surrounded by Secret Service, the crowd was confused because they thought I was dead, and there was great, great sorrow. I could see that on their faces as I looked out. They didn't know I was looking out. They thought it was over. But I could see it. I wanted to do something to let them know I was okay. I raised my right arm, looked at the thousands and thousands of people that were breathlessly waiting, and started shouting, "Fight, fight, fight." Thank you. Once my clenched fist went up, and it was high into the air. You've all seen that. The crowd realized I was okay and roared with pride for our country like no crowd I have ever heard before. Never heard anything like it. For the rest of my life, I will be grateful for the love shown by that giant audience of patriots that stood bravely on that fateful evening in Pennsylvania. Tragically, the shooter claimed the life of one of our fellow Americans, Corey, comparator, unbelievable person, everybody tells me. Unbelievable. And seriously wounded, two other great warriors, spoke to them today. David Dutch and James Copenhaver, two great people. I also spoke to all three families of these tremendous people. Our love and prayers are with them, and always will be. We're never going to forget them. They came for a great rally. They were serious Trumpsters, I want to tell you. They were serious Trumpsters, and still are. But Corey, unfortunately, we have to use the past tense. He was incredible here. He was a highly respected former fire chief, respected by everybody. Was accompanied by his wife, Helen, incredible woman. I spoke to her today, devastated, and two precious daughters. He lost his life selflessly acting as a human shield to protect them from flying bullets. He went right over the top of them and was hit. What a fine man he was. thank the fire department and the family for sending his helmet, his outfit, and it was just something, and they're going to do something very special when they get it. But we did something which cannot match what happened, not even close. But I am very proud to say that over the past few days, we've raised $6.3 million for the families of David, James, and Corey, including from a friend of mine just called up. He sent me a check right here. I just got it. $1 million from Dan Newland. Thank you, Dan. And again, when speaking to the family, I told them, I said, well, I'm going to be sending you a lot of money, but it can't compensate. They all said the same thing. You're right, sir. We appreciate so much what you're doing, but nothing can take the place in the case of Corey and the other two. By the way, they were very, very seriously injured, but now they're doing very well. They're going to be okay. They're going to be doing very well. The warriors. So now I ask that we observe a moment of silence in honor of our friend Corey. There is no greater love than to lay down one's life for others. This is the spirit that forged America in her darkest hours, and this is the love that will lead America back to the summit of human achievement and greatness. This is what we need. Despite such a heinous attack, we unite this evening more determined than ever. I am more determined than ever, and so are you. So is everybody in this room. Thank you very much. Our resolve is unbroken and our purpose is unchanged to deliver a government that serves the American people better than ever before. Nothing will stop me in this mission because our vision is righteous and our cause is pure. No matter what obstacle comes our way, we will not break, we will not bend, we will not back down, and I will never stop fighting for you, your family, and our magnificent country. Never. And everything I have to give with all of the energy and fight in my heart and soul, I pledge to our nation tonight. Thank you very much. I pledge that to our nation. We're going to turn our nation around, and we're going to do it very quickly. Thank you. This election should be about the issues facing our country and how to make America successful, safe, free, and great again. In an age when our politics too often divide us, now is the time to remember that we are all fellow citizens. We are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we must not criminalize dissent or demonize political disagreement, which is what's been happening in our country lately at a level that nobody has ever seen before. In that spirit, the Democrat Party should immediately stop weaponizing the justice system and labeling their political opponent as an enemy of democracy. Especially since That is not true. In fact, I am the one saving democracy for the people of our country. And very big news, as you probably just read, when Monday a major ruling was handed down from a highly respected federal judge in Florida, Eileen Cannon, finding that the prosecutor and the fake documents case against me were totally unconstitutional, and the entire case was thrown out of court. With all of that publicity, thrown out of court. If Democrats want to unify our country, they should drop these partisan witch hunts, which I have been going through for approximately 8 years. And they should do that without delay and allow an election to proceed that is worthy of our people. We're going to win it anyway, but worthy of our people. On this journey, I am deeply honored to be joined by my amazing wife, Melania. And Melania, thank you very much. You also did something really beautiful, a letter to America calling for national unity, and it really took the Republican Party by surprise. I will tell you, it was beautiful. In fact, some very serious people said that we should take that letter and put it as part of the Republican platform. That would be an honor, wouldn't it? Right, Mr. Congressman? But it captivated so many, so I also want to thank my entire family for being here. Don, Kimberly, Ivanka and Jared, Eric and Lara, Tiffany and Michael, Barron, we love our Barron. And of course, my 10 wonderful grandchildren, you saw a few of them up there on my lap before. And how good was Dana? Was Dana good? Was he good? He was on probably the only vacation he's had in about, maybe ever, because he works, but about 10 years with his wife, very far away. I won't tell you where, but very, very far away, beautiful place. And my people called and he said, yeah, I won't be able to do it. This is many, many years. I promised my wife I can't do it. And they came in, they said, Dana won't be able to do it because he was my first, second, and third choice. I said, well, that's too bad, but I understand he's away and it's good. It's good for him. And that was it. About 30 minutes later, she came back in, sir, Dana just called, he's going to do it. And his wife, she said, you can't turn him down, you just can't do it, you have to go. That's a good wife. So he got on a plane, he got here a little while ago, now he's going to get on the plane in a little while and he's going to go back home to his wife. But they're great, and I just want to thank her and him and their whole family because that's not easy. And Kid Rock, same thing. Called, he said, I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part, because, Kid does his great song, Big, Big Monster song. I had no idea. He became a friend of mine over the last 10 years. And he's amazing. Everyone loves him. I didn't even know how big he was. He has rallies. 35, 40,000 people he gets every time he goes out. I think he's making so much money, he doesn't know what the hell to do with it, you want to know? And then we have my other friend, and I've known him so long, and we took that song, and it was a big success, but we made that I saw a chart of great songs to America. That was #1 on the chart recently, #1. So that's Lee Greenwood, a very special, beautiful person. He's a beautiful man. But they all wanted to be here. They called, and how about the Hulkster? How good was he? Is he? Where is he? Boy, oh boy. You know, they may call that entertainment. I know about entertainment, but when he used to lift a 350-pound man over his shoulders and then bench press him 2 rows into the audience, I say maybe entertainment, but he is one strong son of a gun. I will tell you, I watched it many times. There aren't a lot of entertainers that can do that, right? You were fantastic. Thank you very much. Followed by Eric. What was that all about? Boy, that was good. I didn't want to really come up here. But he was so great, and he's such a good young man. He went through a lot of trouble, and Don last night was incredible. They went through so much trouble. They got subpoenaed more than any people probably in the history of the United States. Every week they get another subpoena from the Democrats, crazy Nancy Pelosi, the whole thing, just boom, boom, boom. They've got to stop that because they're destroying our country. We have to work on making America great again, not on beating people. And we won. We beat them in all. We beat them on the impeachments. We beat them on indictments. We beat them. But the time that you have to spend, if they would devote that genius to helping our country, we'd have a much stronger and better country. And Jason, the biggest star in country music. Jason, thank you for being here. Jason, thank you very much. Jason Aldean, he's good. I like his wife even better, by the way. She's here. Thank you, Jason. But I'm thrilled to have a new friend and partner fighting by my side. The next Vice President of the United States, the current Senator from Ohio, J.D. Vance, and his incredible wife, Usha. He's going to be a great Vice President. Is going to be great. Be with this country and with his movement, greatest movement in the history of our country, Make America Great Again. When they criticized it, they said, we're going to try and stop MAGA. I said, MAGA is making America great again. What are you going to stop? There's nothing to stop. Then they say, oh, that's right. It's very tough to fight it. And all of the people that did try and fight it have failed. But he's going to be with us for a long time, and it was an honor to select him. Great student at Yale. His wife was a great student at Yale. They met at Yale. These are two smart people. So, J.D., you're going to be doing this for a long time. Enjoy the ride. And a very special thank you to the extraordinary people of Milwaukee and the great state of, oh, there they are. There they are. You are so easy to spot. And Green Bay's going to have a good team this year, right? They're going to have a good team. They're going to have a good team. Most of the audience doesn't like it, but it's true. You're going to have a very good team this year. And by the way, Wisconsin, we are spending over $250 million here, creating jobs and other economic development all over the place. So I hope you will remember this in November and give us your vote. I am trying to buy your vote. I'll be honest about that. promise we will make Wisconsin great again. We're going to make it. Thank you, Mr. Governor. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm here tonight to lay out a vision for the whole nation. To every citizen, whether you're a young or old man or woman, Democrat, Republican or independent, black or white, Asian or Hispanic, I extend to you a hand of loyalty and of friendship. Together we will lead America to new heights of greatness like the world has never seen before. We were right there in the first term. We got hit with COVID. We did a great job. Nobody knew what it was, but nobody's ever seen an economy pre-COVID. And then we handed over a stock market that was substantially higher than just prior to COVID. Coming in, did a great job. Never got credit for that. We got credit for the war and defeating ISIS and so many things. The great economy, the biggest tax cuts ever, the biggest regulation cuts ever. The creation of Space Force, the rebuilding of our military. We did so much. We did so much. Right to try. Right to try is a big deal. We got right to try. They were trying to get that for 52 years. Somebody's terminally ill, and hopefully there's nobody in this audience, but it does happen a lot. They're terminally ill and they can't use our new space age drugs and other things that we are way ahead. We're the greatest doctors in the world, the greatest laboratories in the world, and you can't do it. They've been trying to get that approved for 52 years. Wasn't that easy? The insurance companies didn't want to do it. They didn't want the risk. The labs didn't want to do it because if it didn't work, people are pretty far down the line toward death. They didn't want to do it. The doctors didn't want to have it on their records, so I got everybody into an office. 52 years they tried. Sounds simple, but it's not. And I got them to agree that somebody that needs it will, instead of going to Asia or Europe or someplace, or if you have no money going home and dying, just die. We got them to sign an agreement, agree to it, where they're not going to sue anybody. They're going to get all of this stuff. They're going to get it really fast. And what's happened is we're saving thousands and thousands of lives. It's incredible. Right to try. It's a great feeling. Under our leadership, the United States will be respected again. No nation will question our power. No enemy will doubt our might. Our borders will be totally secure. Our economy will soar. We will return law and order to our streets, patriotism to our schools, and importantly, we will restore peace, stability, and harmony all throughout the world. But to achieve this future, we must first rescue our nation from failed and even incompetent leadership. We have totally incompetent leadership. This will be the most important election in the history of our country. Under the current administration, we are indeed a nation in decline. We have an inflation crisis that is making life unaffordable, ravaging the incomes of working and low-income families, and crushing, just simply crushing our people like never before. They've never seen anything like it. We also have an illegal immigration crisis, and it's taking place right now as we sit here in this beautiful arena. It's a massive invasion at our southern border that has spread misery, crime, poverty, disease, and destruction to communities all across our land. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Then there's an international crisis, the likes of which the world has seldom been part of. Nobody can believe what's happening. War is now raging in Europe and the Middle East. A growing specter of conflict hangs over Taiwan, Korea, the Philippines, and all of Asia. And our planet is teetering on the edge of World War III. And this will be a war like no other war because of weaponry. The weapons are no longer army tanks going back and forth shooting at each other. These weapons are obliteration. It's time for a change. This administration can't come close to solving the problems. We're dealing with very tough, very fierce people. They're fierce people. And we don't have fierce people. We have people that are a lot less than fierce, except when it comes to cheating on elections and a couple of other things. Then they're fierce. Then they're fierce. So tonight, I make this pledge to the great people of America. I will end the devastating inflation crisis immediately, bring down interest rates, and lower the cost of energy. We will drill, baby, drill. Can you believe what they're doing? But by doing that, we will lead a large-scale decline in prices. Prices will start to come down. Energy raised it. They took our energy policies and destroyed them. Then they immediately went back to them, but by that time, so much was lost. But we will do it at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We'll end lots of different things. We'll start paying off debt and start lowering taxes even further. We gave you the largest tax cut. We'll do it more. You know, people don't realize I brought taxes way down, way down, and yet we took in more revenues the following year than we did when the tax rate was much higher. Most people said, how did you do that? Because it was incentive. Everybody was coming to the country. They were bringing back billions and billions of dollars into our country. The companies made it impossible to bring it back. The tax rate was too high, and the legal complications were far too great. I changed both of them, and hundreds of billions of dollars by Apple and so many other companies were brought back into our nation, and we had an economy the likes of which no nation had ever seen. China, we were beating them at levels that were incredible. And they know it. They know it. We'll do it again, but we'll do it even better. I will end the illegal immigration crisis by closing our border and finishing the wall, most of which I've already built. On the wall, we were dealing with a very difficult Congress. And I said, oh, that's okay. We won't go to Congress. I call it an invasion. We gave our military almost $800 billion. I said, I'm going to take a little of that money because this is an invasion. And we built, most of the wall is already built. And we built it through using the funds because what's better than that? We have to stop the invasion into our country that's killing hundreds of thousands of people a year. We're not going to let that happen. I will end every single international crisis that the current administration has created, including the horrible war with Russia and Ukraine, which would have never happened if I was president, and the war caused by the attack on Israel, which would have never happened if I was president. Iran was broke. Iran had no money. Now Iran has $250 billion. They made it all over the last 2.5 years. They were broke. I watched the other day on a show called Deface the Nation. Has anyone seen it? And they had a congressman who was a Democrat say, well, whether you like him or not, Iran was broke dealing with Trump. I told China and other countries, if you buy from Iran, we will not let you do any business in this country, and we will put tariffs on every product you do send in of 100% or more. And they said to me, well, I think that's about it. They weren't going to buy any oil. And they were ready to make a deal. Iran was going to make a deal with us. And then we had that horrible, horrible result that we'll never let happen again. The election result, we're never going to let that happen again. They used COVID to cheat. We're never going to let it happen again. And they took off all the sanctions and they did everything possible for Iran. And now Iran is very close to having a nuclear weapon, which would have never happened. This is a shame what this administration, the damage that this administration has done. And I say it often, if you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States, think of it, the 10 worst, added them up, they will not have done the damage that Biden has done. I'm only going to use the term once. Biden, I'm not going to use the name anymore, just one time. The damage that he's done to this country is unthinkable. It's unthinkable. Together we will restore vision, strength, competence, and we're going to have a thing called common sense, making most of our decisions, actually. It's all common sense. Just a few short years ago, under my presidency, we had the most secure border and best economy in the history of our country, in the history of the world. We had the greatest economy in the history of the world. We had never done anything like it. We were beating every country, including China, by leaps and bounds. Nobody had seen anything like it. We had no inflation, soaring incomes were going. Nobody can believe it. You can't believe what happened 4 years ago is happening now in reverse. And the world was at peace. Inflation has been a killer for our country. No matter what you make it, it doesn't matter, because inflation is eating you alive. People that were putting away money, they were making great wages, the highest they've ever made, but they were putting away a lot of money. Now they are just being destroyed. They're not putting away anything. They're barely living. They're going into savings accounts. They're taking out their money to live because of inflation. Inflation, remember, it's called a country buster. You can go back to Germany from 100 years ago. You can go back to any country that suffered great inflation. We've suffered the worst inflation we've ever had. But go back and see what's happened to those countries. We've had the worst inflation we've ever had under this person. But in less than 4 years, our opponents have turned incredible success into unparalleled tragedy and failure. It's been a tremendous failure. Today, our cities are flooded with illegal aliens. Americans are being squeezed out of the labor force and their jobs are taken. By the way, you know who's taking the jobs that are created? 107% of those jobs are taken by illegal aliens. And you know who's being hurt the most by millions of people pouring into our country? The black population and the Hispanic population, because they're taking the jobs from our black population, our Hispanic population, and they're also taking them from unions. The unions are suffering because of it. Thank you. Thank you. I like you too. Thank you very much. Inflation has wiped out the life savings of our citizens and forced the middle class into a state of depression and despair. That's what it is. It's despair and depression. We cannot and will not let this continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. We're going to be a great nation again. Thank you. With proper leadership, every disaster we are now enduring will be fixed, and it will be fixed very, very quickly. So tonight, whether you've supported me in the past or not, I hope you will support me in the future, because I will bring back the American dream. That's what we're going to do. You don't even hear about the American dream anymore. With great humility, I am asking you to be excited about the future of our country. Be excited. Be excited. And by the way, the news reports, look at all of those big networks. Look at them. They're all here. But every one of them has said this could be the most organized, best run, and most enthusiastic convention of either party that they've ever seen. Every single one. And it's true. It's true. And there's love in the room. There's great love in the room. So I better finish strong. Otherwise, we'll blow it, and we can't let that happen. Now, this was great. All of the great people that spoke, and everybody hit a home run. I mean, there's not one that I can think of where I said, oh, gee, that wasn't great. Every single person. I refuse to be the only one. Don't do that to me. They're already getting ready. See, I gave them an idea. Now, this was a great convention. This was, I think we're actually going to go home and miss it. You know, usually with a first of all, look at these crowds. You'd never have this at a convention. Look at these crowds. Love, it's about love. This week, the entire Republican Party has formally adopted an agenda for America's renewal, and you saw that agenda. And it's very short compared to the long, boring, meaningless agendas of the past, including the Democrats. They write these things that are hundreds of pages long, and they never read them after they're done. In their case, fortunately, they don't read them because they're pretty bad. It's a series of bold promises that we will swiftly implement when you give us a Republican House. And Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. We have our great Speaker of the House with us tonight, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much. Thank you. A Republican Senate, we have many senators here, and send me back to our beautiful White House just a few short months from now. We're talking about just months. It can't come fast enough. We have to get it done. First, we must get economic relief to our citizens. Starting on day one, we will drive down prices and make America affordable again. We have to make it affordable. It's not affordable. People can't live like this. Under this administration, our current administration, groceries are up 57%, gasoline is up 60 and 70%, mortgage rates have quadrupled. And the fact is, it doesn't matter what they are because you can't get the money anyway. You can't buy houses. Young people can't get any financing to buy a house. The total household costs have increased an average of $28,000 per family under this administration. Republicans have a plan to bring down prices and bring them down very, very rapidly by slashing energy costs. We will, in turn, reduce the cost of transportation, manufacturing, and all household goods. So much starts with energy. And remember, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other country by far. We are a nation that has the opportunity to make an absolute fortune with its energy. We have it, and China does it. Under the Trump administration, just 3.5 years ago, we were energy independent. But soon we will actually be better than that. We will be energy dominant and supply not only ourselves, but we will supply the rest of the world with numbers that nobody has ever seen. And we will reduce our debt, $36 trillion. We will start reducing that, and we will also reduce your taxes still further. Next, and by the way, they want to raise your taxes 4 times, think of it. And all my life I grew up watching politicians. I always loved politics. I guess I was on the other side. I'd watch and they were always talking about, we will give you a tax cut. We will give you a tax cut. My whole life I was watching, I will give you a tax cut, right, Mr. Congressman? That's all they talked about. This is the only administration that said, we're going to raise your taxes by 4 times what you're paying now, and people are supposed to vote for them? I've never heard it. You're paying too much. We're going to reduce your taxes still further. We gave you the biggest one, as I said. We're going to give you more, and it's going to lead to tremendous growth. We want growth in our country. That's what's going to pay off our debt. And next, we will end the ridiculous and actually incredible waste of taxpayer dollars that is fueling the inflation crisis. They spent trillions of dollars on things having to do with the Green New Scam. It's a scam. And that's caused tremendous inflationary pressures in addition to the cost of energy. And all of the trillions of dollars that are sitting there not yet spent, we will redirect that money for important projects like roads, bridges, dams, and we will not allow it to be spent on meaningless Green New Scam ideas. And I will end the electric vehicle mandate on day one. thereby saving the U.S. auto industry from complete obliteration, which is happening right now, and saving U.S. customers thousands and thousands of dollars per car. And right now, as we speak, large factories just started are being built across the border in Mexico. So with all the other things happening on our border, and they're being built by China to make cars and to sell them into our country. No tax, no anything. The United Auto Workers ought to be ashamed for allowing this to happen. And the leader of the United Auto Workers should be fired immediately. And every single auto worker, union and non-union, should be voting for Donald Trump, because we're going to bring back car manufacturing, and we're going to bring it back fast. They're building some of the largest auto plants anywhere in the world. Think of it, in the world. We're going to bring it back. We're going to make them. We don't mind that happening, but those plants are going to be built in the United States, and our people are going to man those plants. And if they don't agree with us, we'll put a tariff of approximately 100 to 200% on each car, and they will be unsellable in the United States. We have long been taken advantage of by other countries. And think of it, oftentimes these other countries are considered so-called allies. They've taken advantage of us for years. We lose jobs, we lose revenue, and they gain everything and wipe out our businesses, wipe out our people. I stopped it for 4 years. I stopped it. And we're really ready to make changes like nobody had seen before. And remember, USMCA, I got rid of NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with USMCA, which is, they say, the best trade deal ever made. Actually, probably the best trade deal was the deal I made with China, where they buy $50 billion worth of our product. They were buying nothing. They buy $50 billion worth. They had to. But I don't even talk about it because of COVID. I don't even mention it, frankly, because of what happened with the China virus. We will not let countries come in, take our jobs, and plunder our nation. They come they plunder our nation. The way they will sell their product in America is to build it in America. Very simple. Build it in America and only in America. And this very simple formula, and Congress has to go along with us, and they will. This very simple formula will create massive numbers of jobs. We will take over the auto industry again, and many, hundreds of thousands of jobs. We lost so many jobs over the years. If you go back 20, 25 years, they've stolen, going to China and Mexico, about 68% of our auto industry manufacturing jobs. We're going to get them all back. We're going to get them all back, every one of them. At the center of our plan for economic relief are massive tax cuts for workers that include something else that's turned out to be very popular, actually. Here it's very popular. This building and all those hotels that I saw that are so nice. I'm staying in a nice one. It's called no tax on tips. No tax on tips. No tax on tips. I got that by having dinner recently in Nevada, where we're leading by about 14 points. Hello. I'll see you there very soon, everybody. And we're having dinner at a beautiful restaurant in the Trump building on the Strip, and it's a great building, and the waitress comes over. How's everything going? Really nice person. How's everything? Oh, sir, it's so tough. The government's after me all the time on tips. I said, well, they give you cash. Would they be able to find them? She said, actually, and I didn't know this. She said, very little cash is given. It's all put right on the check. and they come in and they take so much of our money, it's just ridiculous, and they don't believe anything we say, and they've just hired, as you know, 88,000 agents to go after them even more. And I said, this shows the level of my, most people go out, they hire consultants, they pay millions of dollars. But I said to her, let me just ask you a question. Would you be happy if you had no tax and tips? She said, what a great idea. I got my information from a very smart waitress. That's better than spending millions of dollars. And everybody loves it. Waitresses and caddies and drivers, and everybody's a large group of people that are being really hurt badly. They make money, let them keep their money. I'm going to protect Social Security and Medicare. Democrats are going to destroy Social Security and Medicare because all of these people, by the millions they're coming in, they're going to be on Social Security and Medicare and other things, and you're not able to afford it. They are destroying your Social Security and your Medicare. Under my plan, incomes will skyrocket, inflation will vanish completely, jobs will come roaring back, and the middle class will prosper like never, ever before, and we're going to do it very rapidly. But no hope or dream we have for America can succeed unless we stop the illegal immigrant invasion, the worst that's ever been seen anywhere in the world. There's never been an invasion like this anywhere. Third world countries would fight with sticks and stones not to let this happen. The invasion at our southern border, we will stop it, and we will stop it quickly. You heard Tom Homan yesterday. Tom Homan, put him in charge and just sit back and watch. Brandon Judd, the Border Patrol, he's incredible. These guys, they really, their job is a lot easier if they don't have to do anything, but they want to. They're patriots. Brandon Judd, Border Patrol, ICE. ICE goes out. You have to see what ICE does with MS-13. You have these are probably the worst gang, and ICE goes in there. And I know a lot of people on these rows here, and they're very tough people, but they don't want to do this job. They'll go into a pack of MS-13 killers. They're the worst, probably the worst gangs in the world. And we have thousands of them. I moved thousands and thousands out in my 4 years. We moved them out, and it was a pleasure. But ICE would go right into a pack of these killers, and you see fists flying, you see everything flying, and then they take them. They put them in a paddy wagon. They take them back, and they get them out of our country. And the other countries weren't accepting them back, and I called up and I said, tell them that we're not giving them economic aid anymore. And the next day I got calls from all of these countries that were terminated. Billions of dollars we spend on economic aid to countries that does us, frankly, no good. And the next day I was called by everybody. I couldn't take all the calls. Sir, what's the problem? I said, you won't take your killers back that you sent in caravans into America. You won't take them back. Well, sir, if you'd like us to, we would give very serious consideration to doing that. And within 24 hours, they were being taken back. For years and years, when I first came in, they said President Obama tried to get him to go back, and they wouldn't accept him. They'd put planes on the runway so you couldn't leave the plane. They'd close the road so you couldn't take the buses. They'd all have to turn back. As soon as I said no more economic aid of any kind to any country that does that, they called back and they said, sir, it would be our great honor to take MS-13. We love them very much. We love them very much, sir. We'll take them back. At the heart of the Republican platform is our pledge to end this border nightmare and fully restore the sacred and sovereign borders of the United States of America. And we're going to do that on day one. That means two things on day one, right? Drill, baby, drill, and close our borders. And by the way, and I think everybody as a Republican, as a patriot in this room, and most Democrats, we want people to come into our country, but they have to come into our country legally. Legally. Less than 4 years ago, I handed this administration the strongest border in American history. But you can see on the chart that saved my life, that was the chart that saved my life. I said, look it, I'm so proud of it. I think it's one of the greatest, it was done by the Border Patrol, one of the greatest charts I've ever seen. It showed everything just like that. You know the chart. Oh, there it is. That's pretty good. Wow. Last time I put up that chart, I never really got to look at it. But without that chart, I would not be here today. Never got to look at it. I said, you got to see this chart. I was so proud of it, and by the time I got to there, I never got to see it that day. But I'm seeing it now, and I was very proud. If you look at the arrow on the bottom, that's the lowest level, the one on the bottom, heavy red arrow. That's the lowest level of illegal immigrants ever to come into our country in recorded history, right there. Right there. And that was my last week in office. And then you see what happened after I left. Look at the rest. And if you go out a little bit further, it's getting to be a little bit old, but I love it anyway, right? But you can go much higher with those numbers. Look what happened right after that. The invasion began. We had the opposite. We stopped the invasion, but the invasion that we stopped was peanuts by comparison to what happened after I left. Look at what happened after I left. They took over our country. We ended all catch and release. We shut down asylum fraud. We stopped human trafficking and forged historic agreements to keep illegal aliens on foreign soil. We want them to stay on their soil. Under the Trump administration, if you came in illegally, you were apprehended immediately and you were deported. You went right back. The current administration terminated every single one of those great Trump policies that I put in place to seal the border. I wanted to seal the border. Again, come in, but come in legal. You know how unfair it is? So many people, hundreds of thousands of people have been working for years to come into our country. And now they see these people pour into our country at levels that are unprecedented. It's so unfair. And we're not going to do it. We're not going to stand for it. They suspended wall construction, ended remain in Mexico. We had a policy, remain in Mexico. You think that was easy to get from the Mexican government? But I said, you must give it to us. If you don't give it to us, there will be repercussions. And they gave it to us, but not easy. Canceled our Safe Third agreements, demolished Title 42, implemented nationwide catch and release. That's catch and release, where we catch them and release them into our country. We catch them and release them into Mexico. There's a slight difference. And took 93, this is the previous administration, 93 executive actions to throw open our border to the world. The entire world is pouring into our country because of this very foolish administration. The greatest invasion in history is taking place right here in our country. They are coming in from every corner of the earth, not just from South America, but from Africa, Asia, the Middle East. They're coming from everywhere. They're coming at levels that we've never seen before. It is an invasion indeed, and this administration does absolutely nothing to stop them. They're coming from prisons. They're coming from jails. They're coming from mental institutions and insane asylums. The press is always on me because I say this. Has anyone seen Silence of the Lambs? The late, great Hannibal Lecter. He'd love to have you for dinner. That's insane asylums. They're emptying out their insane asylums. And terrorists are coming in at numbers that we've never seen before. Bad things are going to happen. Meanwhile, our crime rate is going up, while crime statistics all over the world are going down, because they're taking their criminals and they're putting them into our country. A certain country, and I happen to like the president of that country very much, but he's been getting great publicity because he's a wonderful shepherd of the country. He says how well the country's doing because their crime rate is down. And he said he's training all of these rough people. They're rough. He's training them. And I've been reading about this for 2 years. I think, oh, that's wonderful. Let's take a look at it. But then I realized he's not training them. He's sending all of his criminals, his drug dealers, his people that are in jails. He's sending them all to the United States. And he's different in that he doesn't say that. He's trying to convince everybody what a wonderful job he does in running the country. Well, he doesn't do a wonderful job. And by the way, if I ran one of the countries, many countries from all over, I would be worse than any of them. I would have had the place totally emptied out already. But we become a dumping ground for the rest of the world, which is laughing at us. They think we're stupid. And they can't believe that they're getting away with what they're getting away with, but they're not going to be getting away with it for long. That's what I can tell you. In Venezuela, Caracas, high crime. Caracas, Venezuela, really a dangerous place, but not anymore. Because in Venezuela, crime is down 72%. In fact, if they would ever win this election, I hate to even say that, we will have our next Republican convention in Venezuela because it will be safe. Our cities will be so unsafe, we won't be able. We will not be able to have it there. In El Salvador, murders are down by 70%. Why are they down? Now, he would have you convinced that because he's trained murderers to be wonderful people. No. They're down because they're sending their murderers to the United States of America. This is going to be very bad. And bad things are going to happen, and you're seeing it happen all the time. That's why, to keep our families safe, the Republican platform promises to launch the largest deportation operation in the history of our country. Even larger than that of President Dwight D. Eisenhower from many years ago. You know, he was a moderate, but he believed very strongly in borders. He had the largest deportation operation we've ever had. Just recently, I spoke to the grieving mother of Jocelyn Nungary, a wonderful woman, a precious 12-year-old girl from Houston who last month was tied up, assaulted, and strangled to death after walking to the convenience store just a block away from her house. Her body was dumped near the side of the road in a shallow creek, found by some onlookers who couldn't believe what they had witnessed. Charged with Jocelyn's heinous murder are 2 illegal aliens from Venezuela who came across our border, were in custody, and were then released into the country by this horrible, horrible administration that we have right now. I also met recently with the heartbroken mother and sister of Rachel Morin. Rachel was a 37-year-old mom of 5 beautiful children who was brutally raped and murdered while out on a run. She wanted to keep herself in good shape. It was very important to her. She was murdered. The monster responsible first killed another woman in El Salvador before he was led into America by the White House. This White House let them in. He then attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother in a home invasion in Los Angeles before murdering Rachel in Maryland. Traveled all throughout the country, doing tremendous damage. Rachel's mother will never be the same. I spent time with her. She will never be the same. I've also met with the wonderful family of Laken Riley, the brilliant 22-year-old nursing student. She was so proud of being first in her class, who was out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia when she was assaulted, beaten, and horrifically killed. Yet another American life was stolen by a criminal alien set free by this administration. And these were incredible people we're talking about. These were incredible people who died. Tonight, America, this is my vow. I will not let these killers and criminals into our country. I will keep our sons and daughters safe. As we bring security to our streets, we will help bring stability to the world. I was the first president in modern times to start no new wars. You know, we were the toughest, we were the most respected. And you saw this. Hungry, strong country, run by very powerful, tough leaders, tough guy. Press doesn't like him because he's tough. And he came out recently, they were asking him at an interview, the whole world is exploding, what's happening, what's going on? Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary, very tough man. He said, I don't want people coming into my country and blowing up our shopping centers and killing people. But they said to him, tell us what's going wrong, what's happening, what is it? He said, there's only one way you're going to solve it. You got to bring President Trump back to the United States because he kept everybody at bay. He used a word I wouldn't use because I can't use that word, because you'd say it was braggadocious, the press would say he was a braggart. I'm not a braggart. But Viktor Orban said it. He said Russia was afraid of him. China was afraid of him. Everybody was afraid of him. Nothing was going to happen. The whole world was at peace. And now the world is blowing up around us. All of these things that you read about were not going to happen. Under President Bush, Russia invaded Georgia. Under President Obama, Russia took Crimea. Under the current administration, Russia is after all of Ukraine. Under President Trump, Russia took nothing. We defeated 100% of ISIS in Syria and Iraq. Something that was said to take 5 years, sir. It'll take 5 years, sir. We did it in a matter of a couple of months. We have a great military. Our military is not woke. It's just some of the fools on top that are woke. I got along very well. North Korea, Kim Jong-un, I got along very well with him. The press hated when I said that. How could you get along with him? Well, you know, it's nice to get along with somebody who has a lot of nuclear weapons or otherwise, isn't it? See, in the old days, they'd say, that's a wonderful thing. Now they say, how could you possibly do that? But no, I got along with them, and we stopped the missile launches from North Korea. Now North Korea is acting up again, but when we get back, I get along with him. He'd like to see me back, too. I think he misses me, if you want to know the truth. Our opponents inherited a world at peace and turned it into a planet of war. We're in a planet of war. Look at that attack on Israel. Look at what's happening with Ukraine. The cities are just bombed out. How can people live like that where buildings, massive buildings are falling to the ground? It began to unravel with the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, the worst humiliation in the history of our country. We have never had a humiliation like that. 13 heroic U.S. service members were tragically and needlessly killed. 45 others were horrifically wounded. Nobody ever talks about them. No arms, no legs, face explosions, horrifically wounded. And by the way, we have a man in this room who's running for the U.S. Senate from a great state, Nevada, named Sam Brown, who paid the ultimate price. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. He paid the biggest price probably ever paid by anybody that is running for office, and I think he's going to do great. He's running against a person that is not good, not respected, a total lightweight. But Sam, I think, paid really, we were talking about it with some of the senators that are working so hard for Sam, but he paid the biggest price of any senator ever to run for the Senate. I don't think anybody's ever what he did. He was a real hero, a really great person, and he's running, and I hope that everybody gets out and votes for Sam Brown. And we also left behind $85 billion worth of military equipment, along with many American citizens were left behind. Many American citizens, emboldened by that disaster, Russia invaded Ukraine. They saw this group of people that were incompetent. We took the soldiers out first. No, we're going to take the soldiers out second. If they would have followed my plan, we had a great plan. But the plan only kicked in if they did everything perfectly, and they weren't doing things perfectly, so we said it doesn't kick in. 18 months in Afghanistan, we didn't have one, so they were killing them left and right, snipers. And I spoke to the head of the Taliban. You've heard this story. Abdul, still there, still the head of the Taliban. The press got on me, why would you speak to him? I said, because that's where the killing is. I don't have to speak to somebody that has nothing to do with it. And I told him, don't ever do that. Don't ever do that again. Don't ever do that again. You've got to stop. Because during the Obama administration, many great people and soldiers, a lot of soldiers were being killed from long distance. I said, if you keep doing that, you're going to be hit harder than anybody's ever been hit by a country before. And he said, I understand, Your Excellency. He called me Your Excellency. I wonder if he calls the other guy Your Excellency. I doubt it. The other guy gave him everything. I mean, what kind of a deal was that? He walked out, gave him everything. Do you know that right now Afghanistan is one of the largest sellers of weapons in the world? They're selling the brand new, beautiful weapons that we gave them. But think of it, he actually said to me, but why do you show me a picture of my home? I said, you'll have to ask your people or one of your wives. But he could figure it out. And for 18 months, we had not one attack on an American soldier by the Taliban. 18 months. And then we had that horrible day where soldiers were killed. I was not there because of a ridiculous election. But we had that horrible attack. And they also gave up Bagram, one of the biggest bases anywhere in the world, air bases anywhere in the world, the longest runways, most powerful, hardened, thickened runways. We gave it up. And I liked it, not because of Afghanistan. I liked it because of China. It's 1 hour away from where China makes their nuclear weapons. And you know who has it now? China has it now. We were keeping that. And now China is likewise circling Taiwan, and Russian warships and nuclear submarines are operating 60 miles off the coast in Cuba. Do you know that? No, the press refuses to write about it. If that were me running this country and we had nuclear submarines in Cuba, I will tell you that headlines every day would be, what's wrong with our president? You don't even hear this. You're not hearing about this. Russia has nuclear submarines and warships 60 miles away, Mr. Congressman, from Miami, by the way, happens to be here. Correct? In Cuba. And that would not be stood for if it were somebody else. They don't want to mention it, but now maybe they will. And the entire world, I tell you this, we want our hostages back, and they better be back before I assume office, or you will be paying a very big price. With our victory in November, the years of war, weakness, and chaos will be over. I don't have wars. I had no wars other than ISIS, which I defeated, but that was a war that was started. We had no wars. I could stop wars with a telephone call. I could stop wars with just a telephone call. If properly stated, it would never start. We will replenish our military and build an Iron Dome missile defense system to ensure that no enemy can strike our homeland. And this great Iron Dome will be built entirely in the USA. We're going to build it in the USA. And Wisconsin, just like I gave you that massive ship contract, and you're doing a very nice job, Governor, right? Thank you, Governor. And they're doing a great job. In fact, I had a little design change, and we gave them a tremendous for essentially what we used to call destroyers. These are now the most beautiful. They look like yachts. I said, we have to take the bow and we have to make it a little nicer and a little point at the top instead of a flat nose. And the people at the shipyard said, this guy sort of knows what he's doing. We have the most beautiful ships, right, Governor? And everybody sitting over there. And it was a big contract that everybody wanted. I gave it to Wisconsin, but we're going to have a lot of that built right here in the state of Wisconsin and all other states. Israel has an Iron Dome. They have a missile defense system. 342 missiles were shot into Israel, and only one got through a little bit. It was badly wounded. It fell to the ground, but most of them are. And Ronald Reagan wanted this many years ago, but we really didn't have the technology many years ago. Remember, they called it Starship, spaceship, anything to mock him. But he was a very good president, very, very good. But now we have unbelievable technology. And why should other countries have this and we don't? No, we're going to build an Iron Dome over our country, and we're going to be sure that nothing can come and harm our people. And again, from an economic development standpoint, we're going to make it all right here. No more sending it out to other countries in order to help. It's America first. America first. We will unleash the power of American innovation. And as we do, we will soon be on the verge of finding the cures to cancer, Alzheimer's disease, and many other diseases. We're going to get to the bottom of it. You remember this gentleman that I don't want to mention other than one time I had to, because when you say you're the 10 worst, I had to do it. I didn't want anybody to be confused. But this man said, we're going to find the cure to cancer. Nothing happened. We're going to get to the cure for cancer and Alzheimer's and so many other things. We're so close to doing something great. But we need a leader that will let it be done. We will not have men playing in women's sports. That will end immediately. And we will restore and renovate our nation's once great cities, making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. And that includes our nation's capital, which is a horrible killing field. So many things. They leave from Wisconsin, they go to look at the Washington Monument, they end up getting stabbed, killed, or shot. We will be very soon very proud of our capital, again, Washington, D.C. America is on the cusp of a new golden age, but we will have the courage to seize it. We're going to take it. We're going to make it a current. We're going to bring this into a golden age like never seen before. Remember this, China wants to do it. Japan wants to do it. All of these countries want to do it. We have to produce massive amounts of energy if we're going to produce the new. If you look at some of the things that have been done and some of the things that we're going to do, but AI needs literally twice the electricity that's available now in our country. Can you imagine? But instead we're spending places where they recharge electric cars. They built 8 chargers at a certain location toward the Midwest. 8 chargers for $9 billion. Think of them as a tank for filling up your gas. Think of it. They spent $9 billion on 8 chargers, 3 of which didn't work. And if you were going to do this all over our country, this crazy electric mandate, if you're going to do this, and by the way, I'm all for electric. They have their application. But if somebody wants to buy a gas-powered car, gasoline-powered car, or a hybrid, they're going to be able to do it. And we're going to make that change on day one. So to conclude, just a few short days ago, my journey with you nearly ended. We know that. And yet, here we are tonight, all gathered together, talking about the future, promise, and a total renewal of a thing we love very much. It's called America. We live in a world of miracles. None of us knows God's plan or where life's adventure will take us. I want to thank Franklin Graham for being here tonight. He's an outstanding man. He wrote me a note recently. I have a lot of respect for him. Sir, I love your storytelling. I think it's great in front of these big rallies. But sir, please do me one favor. It won't make any difference. Please don't use any foul language. I was a little embarrassed. He said, it won't make any difference. Actually, it does. The story's not quite as good, but I've been very good. The story is not quite as good, to be honest. I've got to have a little talk with Franklin, but he was great. He's a great gentleman. His father was so incredible, Billy Graham. My father used to love taking me to see Billy Graham. My father would take me to see Billy Graham at Yankee Stadium. He had the biggest rallies you've ever seen. He was a good rally guy, too. But he'd get up, and he was a fantastic guy. My father loved Billy Graham. But I love Franklin Graham. I think Franklin's been fantastic, and I'm working so hard to adhere to his note to me. I'm working hard on it, Franklin. But if the events of last Saturday make anything clear, it is that every single moment we have on earth is a gift from God. We have to make the most of every day for the people and for the country that we love. The attacker in Pennsylvania wanted to stop our movement, but the truth is the movement has never been about me. It has always been about you. It's your movement. It's the biggest movement in the history of our country by far. Can't be stopped. It can't be stopped. It has always been about the hardworking, patriotic citizens of America. For too long, our nation has settled for too little. We settled for too little. We've given everything to other nations, to other people. You've been told to lower your expectations and to accept less for your families. I am here tonight with the opposite message. Your expectations are not big enough. Not big enough. It is time to start expecting and demanding the best leadership in the world, leadership that is bold, dynamic, relentless, and fearless. We can do that. We are Americans. Ambition is our heritage. Greatness is our birthright. But as long as our energies are spent fighting each other, our destiny will remain out of reach, and that's not acceptable. We must instead take that energy and use it to realize our country's true potential and write our own thrilling chapter of the American story. We can do it together. We will unite. We are going to come together, and success will bring us together. It is a story of love, sacrifice, and so many other things. And remember the word devotion. It's unmatched devotion. Our American ancestors crossed the Delaware, survived the icy winter at Valley Forge, and defeated a mighty empire to establish our cherished republic. They fought so hard, they lost so many. They pushed thousands and thousands of miles across a dangerous frontier, taming the wilderness to build a life and a magnificent home for their family. They packed their families into covered wagons, trekked across hazardous trails, scaled towering mountains, and braved rivers and rapids to stake their claim on the wide open, new, and very beautiful frontier. When our way of life was threatened, American patriots marched onto the battlefield, raced into enemy strongholds, and stared down death and stared down those enemies to keep alive the flame of freedom. At Yorktown, Gettysburg, and Midway, they joined the roll call of immortal heroes. So many heroes, so many great, great people. And we have to cherish those people. We can't forget those people. We have to cherish those people. And building monuments to those great people is a good thing, not a bad thing. They saved our country. No challenge was too much. No hardship was too great. No enemy was too fierce. Together these patriots soldiered on and endured, and they prevailed because they had faith in each other, faith in their country, and above all, they had faith in their God. Just like our ancestors, we must now come together, rise above past differences. Any disagreements have to be put aside and go forward united as one people, one nation, pledging allegiance to one great, beautiful, I think it's so beautiful, American flag. Tonight I ask for your partnership, for your support, and I am humbly asking for your vote. I want your vote. It's going to make our country great again. Every day I will strive to honor the trust you have placed in me, and I will never, ever let you down. I promise that. I will never let you down. To all of the forgotten men and women who have been neglected, abandoned, and left behind, you will be forgotten no longer. We will press forward, and together we will win, win, win. Win, 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 win. Nothing will sway us. Nothing will slow us, and no one will ever stop us. No matter what dangers come our way, no matter what obstacles lie in our path, we will keep striving toward our shared and glorious destiny, and we will not fail. We will not fail. Together we will save this country. We will restore the republic, and we will usher in the rich and wonderful tomorrows that our people so truly deserve. America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, brighter, happier, stronger, freer, greater, and more united than ever before. And quite simply put, we will very quickly make America great again. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Wisconsin. God bless you. God bless you, Wisconsin, and God bless the United States of America, our great country. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
I'm
나오다 단다랑 아메리게 신진 수르바 고샵 도널드 트럼프기 지dwin 치비 소배기 다 개용 투소 투미기 촉진 아깝라 땀시 낭두비요레 땀시 차상와지 땀시 데이터 튜인 추지 찍학섬지 고샵 도널드 트럼프기 간다 겹교가 돌아 땀시 낭송 때디 지게 양 지게 용 촉진 값수 땀시 나와 튜인 링아르지 차디기 위해서래 다 다버디기 치지 주용안에 접게 바른 인장 시점이링라 아메리게 지dwin 치비 소배 기용 투미기 속전대 아메리게 응아데 위스콘신 난기 통계 밀버기 나와 공도 체결에 또 속전 값수 90 도널드 트럼프기 흉지 톤에 또 지dwin 치비 소배기 신지 유민 난교 킬린낭 유바다 데네 간다 속전라 따담신 나와식 차기열에 드림 90 도널드 트럼프기 소제라 땀신 나와데 인장 시링기 지dwin 치비 소배기 용 투미기 속전대 죽지 체바다 다네 죽지 체베기다 니 타마데라 땀신 나와지 차대기도 딱 90 도널드 트럼프기 속전라 땀신 나와 차상와징 돌롱진 칸기 딱 타게당 오디 차람톤에 경승치 요래 딱 90 도널드 트럼프기 속전 값수 땀신 나와기 되네 딱 쫓치와 내dio 망부지기 토라 땀신 나송 인바이네 드링 나랑 길게 도난 중에라 치지기 내뒤테라 큐점 레원마도 망치와지 아메리카 개낭당 대비기 딱 내뒤 카 망부지기 토라 까면낭 요래 딘저낭네 딱 쫓치와지게 아메리카 낭라 딱 다대체라 유당 파자다 아메리카 직부점 말에데 점는 기가 망부나라 대비 로직니 나올라 묘소 그 인공 시오지 야 파르도베기 강내지 따미 몽골라 중대열에 딘조 따 신지도는 딘조 콜라 까메지 나송 게데 90 도는 좀 개가 토바이나 유당 파르지기 치시누서 마짜가 임베기 지까면 나와 지게 통충성 대가나시 따 미망 트윈의 슝기 짜데 두조디에 쪽저치 임베 콜라 까면 나송 대신 따 직 아메리게 나라 팀게 톤에 학바도 멕시코 윤에 얘가 망부직네 멕시코 균의 아메리게 나라 팀계기 더 치미 망부직 용되기 요래 딘주텔라 한다 까면 슉첨보 점 말에 딱 한다 투즈 망부지 아메리게 나라 치미 시도바 용데 딘제콜라 까면 나서 상고도 더 참되네 ngazu lungding khangi somje ba losanshila de shuchine kushap tramgi tamshi nangwe nangin nangdu tsone khachi gi thola kamena thashi gi losanshila tamde sil shoda dane losala ta kushap tramgi tringi tamshi di nangin nangdu kechi shodoji karikari nangson kongudo ji losala gi tordushine thangbuji sungwaina
lolos tambudelia ta tanda tsenki amerike shajolia tsenki chuzu jungi yodudo 아니 디톨리아 시 중에다 근데 여비나 참만 참지 중이 자가단 디드바이나 다 토란 차기열에 페날에 다 차고 다 차주 직단 차갈 하즈 지 카메론 구치나버리 안디간즈 투즈 튼딘 직 나로야 닝드 슈고기드 장기 권리아 단도 손손 아니 다직 벤조 내단디 상루단기 인수에디 슈크첨부 손나선 디나니 다 컨테스트단기 인수에 저와 디코랑기 아니 다직 사원엔 돈음 때야다 딩워기 인스타 돈음단 돈음랑제 디 드릴 베이비 드릴 제가 딩워기 안디 모두 찰라기 딤두레 틴데 토네 뭐서 그런단디랑 신기 마 파빙그레 차두그레 안디 토네 벤조 캐스트그레 아니 아메리게 지금 남기 벤조 라스 좀 메인바 칠로레 백그라 돈음다 랑제기 아니 총자여 버든데 속이 인신 손수 다 딩잉된 직도 슈 아니 니바델이야 그런 가르손스나 탄잠 다단다 지게 치미 망부지 팀게 토니 아메리게 나로야 주니 아니 강에 차기여 버다 안 대즈기 안 레가 인제 안 콘서 쇼트고요리스 안 디 나로네 믹스 카네 레가 펜차시나 미리나고 이네리 단타다 히스패닉스 인 라틴 아메리칸 디 히스패닉 코난시네 레가 쇼서 망차 콘서 쇼고요리스 고주시다나소 안 디체도 지게 탄잠니아 베tka 라오카긴 지게 경기 인소야다 어디
쇼초기 히스패닉 수고이나 아메리게 호조 퀸이 호조 개업하네 이렇게 나라 용경기 미나준소로
라리 그 개나기 수지단 된조 디치송송 그냥 가르치나
제 따드니 지게 로살라 트링 엔더 지게 쿠샵 톰기 지드윈 차비 소베기 기용 투미 초진 값소 땀신 낭매 값소 또 시간 지게 니드 망부지 탈라 까면낭소 삼고도 또 임바이네 트링기 니 토낭 중에데 땀시 낭 추지 찍다 체계 낭라 아메리게 낭라 치미 시작 바다 직 팀기 통의 용대에 토라 양내 값도 링롱 제와직 토낭 추송 또 치미 시드베기 니든 디토라 쪼치와도지 거sun구도 니 토라야 링롱 양내 값도 거진 낭디기요래
디가 가르친 랭거스나 다디 지든 최소 소베기 자든 조치 차겨리 치미시베 안단데 디난 신진 인 소베 트럼키 가면 알로 가르송 버스나 치미시베 용한 상말이야 딘데 큰진단 당sem단 더베메든데 마레 팀도니 지게 팀등 토니 팽엔솔야 가수여 이네 팀게 토니 팽엔조 안도 스tambe이나 and Gagagi Nalola Timre, any Chidan Penjo Yamgudral Soba, Gangan Chagidu, and Mixek Peasant Chikanason, Venezuela, Gagam Nechashavina, and Tezunangi, any Minajim Badan Tim gave it to Zotina Yon, and Gagam Nalolia Timgi Gangan that in the Chagos. That did a Madava that Nyatanda Kusarizlang, Rani Parala, Chindil Soba, the Yunguri Samju. Then the Sinzi Tromki. Kronlia tanda dringi sunsheti kyan konlia deju namanishiri so chawa negachi karchago sana resa pembe nyilya Kron kuso shoya lia nyanga kuso lia paji chik troya tabshi chechin chik ta kuso nyanga chimbu chik jelia tarinde lia sunsheti nangi yor chazan digi nedanda neludike shipshawash ma de shekyon and di nalo ne Krongi di 튕겐디 중외 제라 아니 단다 코로나기 갑달 여백이 사고버치 워싱턴 examiner기 사고버치를 가르송여스나 내든 디기 튕겐디 gem베다 베치 시송공야기 아니 내든 디 제라 아니 가제 소경 뭐좀버치 임베 차네 삼려나 가르코선스나 당어즈 상마지디 제고도 도저지디 제고도 제닝에 토마니리아 지그 신진 leto Joe Biden ya kyunju cheagi ani tamshe thi chawa yins yene dige chama pa sojo gyap chene an ta kandar ngajo mema gegap chama thundi chegodo mema chama thundi chegodo sin samlo di khol jones di nega kechumbu di chor jones achazan di kolya thibe yins chene dinde ji son tanda dinde ji son yore dinde ji tön yore chazan tirin korangi kamen nanglo la di shukchumbu kala kanjum song kamen di gozu be godo de 가르송스나 나 아메리게 신진리아 캐난츠기 외미도 스톰바레 게 당아 당내 쇼기니 아니 나 아메리게 신진리아 랑고요리 캔즈 참매 알리아 잡요나로나 미리 카리네레 답변 샤샤나 까고 이네레 나고 이네레 안단다 아메리게 후기기 초네 팽에기 라틴 히스패닉 소 이네레 아니 에시안 미리 임베 이네레 수이네 참매 나로지 나 아메리카기 미마 자정 업주 담백이 신진체야 된데 그 말에 차가지 신진 말에 나 미마 자저 미마 용기 신진치야 또 슬랭기 유스야 가면도 아니 군대기 가면 나로를 시다 매버지 가면 숙청부지 다른게 된겐디 제기 가면 내가 직책이 요래섬도 안디 나로네 다른 신진 조 바이든 기 마직 바탕 아니 제게 디게 매버인데 페이지엔 첸 테마틱 되나스마도 고주 테마니 따나서 아니 첸 테가 되야디 테마틱 되나스 디 나로라 카리소나스나 아니 단데 신진 조 바이든 디 아메리카나 신진 따직 셴바스네리 교 아니 마존바 주 dombayina and dige nalone korantis kyoshudu chagi yuba tindeji kyuntu shnasmado diletrebe jigi tadesi shun shuyal soba and tande america manzu sogbe shun sunyal soba to gergi jigi kyuntu dan kyunju dinde kyunnamusndi mixegi keju shade shasamdo
je tadene jige ta thane nima handalo sangla gi sungna shine thane nimanga 콩라 지게 아메리게 펜실베니아게 바틀러스 제베게 총기지기 나라 유두다 제베게 티다 리그 페신베 값소 미난 막침바 니진바 지기 신지 surpa kushe Donald Trump kokse tangayage tabshi shebegi nizu de ta Amerike chepsi jik khanda chepsi ki kuyu da mimang ji yongge tuyla yongda hajang chenpo chabegi nizu ji chungu yore di korla kushe Donald Trump ke tamshi nangwe kapso 통마 다우질라 한다 디콜라 링노나에 게 탑시 나서 아니 코랑기 숭에 고셰 트럼기 숭에 제와이나 따 드링 니 민망부지기 디콜라 시로치 레게도 드링 니 디콜라 시기 유스 디 제라 따 제마 디콜라 짜와니네 시기 메스도 딱 갑디디 미만지기 미네지기 한다 꼭서 땅에기 튕긴 딘조 지진 체베 값소 코랑 게르라 심둑 침부 여베 콜라 직송 나송 안다 로살라게 숭에 지그레 따 테링기 지dwin 칩이 속배기 딱고샵 트럼 임바이나 지dwin 칩이 속배기 신진기 유미 차 용도 잡아 몽발라 한다 아메리게 신진기 기가 톱구구였나 미망 용기 아메리게는 기 미리 용기 칩이 속바 가와 거리 이메일 마드베 창매기 갭결 구드 잡아 다 아메리카 지 용기 신진기 간다지기 유미지 제임베 콜라 직송송 따드네 양직에 고샵 트럼기 까메나마 한다 직 치디시주다 데베 콜라 로상랑이 제랑에 까메슈고 또 까메슈에 탑시치기 당보 드링기 디낭라 직에 까메나마 값소 고샵 트럼기 망부지 디송는 것도 고샵 트럼 신진 임베 값소 간다 직에 레도 신진 임베 값소 아메리케기 벤조기 내당 약보 요와 치미 시자바 아메리케 나라 용해든서 깍동 투브 요바 대가나신 지게 딱 한다 짜지 쪽자 치투브 요바 딘데콜라 망보지 링송 디치드 잠바 딱 한다 랑신기 다들 레도 신지 고샤 바이든기 갑기 간다 지게 첩시 내당다 시주 라 충두 제베 토네 마웅발라 고샤 간다 트럼 라리앙 딤딘 중마이나 아메리게 벤조기 내당 약보 용와 짜제 쪽자 제이바 유당 파자 양 용디 제이바 아니 치미 시작 바 깍동 제이바 딘데지 랑신기 춘투베 로스도와
라레 다레
딘데지 통화 중대
kuju dar re ko koden di daran pege yore ta dine ngen shenda ji kyan tan di gan ngen nge skya yin tang zo di gan chimbi na jana dan de wei jo gan liang zo rob chimbi na karchesare marbe ku san zla
re yinda yinlang ta dine ji 로상라 디 갸나다 지단 지게 드링기 땀시 디 나올라 치디시주다 데베 콜라 땀시 투즈 링보지 땅망만 송데 임바이네 갸나 안 테가나시 양지게 아메리게 치디시주다 데베 콜라 지게 까메 쫓쳐버로지 가능성이
라게타 디 나올라 케테 넘버 2 투나 나이나 신지 소바 트럼키 뭐 송시에 만한 콘라 아니 코랑기 지게 제제단단기 리규도 스마 파 마 때난데 대시나송아 신진 트럼디 대가 신진나베 갑라 소소 촉보도조 냠돌이야 촉보도조 톱첨보스 토바 촉볼이야 송겹징에스 람니 카메디 대시나베 그도달라 안 이스라엘기 단다 실은 네틴야후 때난도아 때나스도 신경서 되고 싶다 아니 디게 대시 디날 무튼도디 아니 즉 소소 캅데 디갈리안 동네치도 동네 노브체 토켄신 Comedy Sumbe Kudela, Party Cartenas, since Trump, any Xi Jinping, Janaki, Guti Xi Jinping, those Yamdo Yavastans one, Digi, Sigdunki, Kokuran, Nani, Kates, Lion, Janaki, since Xi Jinping Tay and Tang, any Tundos, Gentian, the Israel, so what the next thing, Dar Antony couldn't shoot Chumbistana, so any Janaliata, Chick Susadi, shoot Chumbistana, so. 테가토니 펜차샤나 아메리카 코랑기 레윤리아 갈간점 야구지 투비에 이네 딜레 야가 투비하기 투즈지 그 커도데라 아니 야나네 네부디 된손션 차나 와르스 제니 코랑기 가면송야디 양교치마 야나기 네부션 양교지 순나송아 디지그리 아니 니바델리아 코랑기 가르송스나 다 야나 나로라 로슈기 니베토니 모데스 a model the Kevu Shuji Society, any Tanda America, de Kimzi, any Mexico and Lola, any log model the search in Kanja mixa the Tromra di 아메리카 나로리아 추종할 미기어리 자산 지도 코란기 베델이야 체인 가전 답 베코란 아 가전 가담바 야면 가전 니게지 parchen kanja americana zomba in kepsam ya so in sel so ba ta gandar gyana lian dirsa di gyana di chege da drakha de ran liang ji maje bi ne chege khandar ta chek gyana di america lia america dongne chego yin ba di sta ge number dang ani was the wish sons
re ta jike tringyang ji losala ni 케사 아메리카스네 칸다 지든 치비 속배기 신지 쉔배기 유미 제디 벤스 게 지게 칸다 따야 신지 쉔바 나에게 켈린 나베기 땀시지 나 요래 지든 속배기 기 용을 현좀 값소 값디디 임바이네 양 야나콜라 진데 디니지 링롱치기도 제디 벤스다 단다 고샵 트럼니기 야나테기 랑조데 드링 디콜라 양 니주 통동지 수이 dinangla ushab tram da jika ushab tram gi langjo de khanda europe khu gi chide gi nedön da disung gi gen din zo europe gi gab rang gi kur gugure kisher khu gi khanda denja gi gen zo kisher gi gab rang gi kur gugure dinde chewa ina america gi gyana rangla migar chene ani jike khanda denja da deba yewegi tunang chimburte tube tela khanda jike kibe yowa직 드시 개도 데미양 로살아 지게 다 야나다 치디 연당이 공을 쉬워나 신 치디 니든 텔라 대점지 링롱낭마송 대점지 까면낭마송 때 임바이네 치디 니든 셴베 텔라 까면로지 가능성이 빼나
lare ta
유크레인기 막답당 기셔 윤주기 이스라엘당 한다 하마스 팔라 막답 갭심바 딘데 콜라 큐크큐섬 링롱낭소와 딘데 콜라 가르쳐 주는데
lare ta 14보다 캔소마송 이네 근데 지그 다 비디오기 투즈리 비디오기 투즈 인디 아니 단다 신진 레토 조 바이든이네레 아니 만소베기 때 미차브와 안 단다 지진 소베기 신진 의미 아니 신진 수바 도널드 트럼프이네 관저 송셰기 나로라 that jege bisabi mangwe nalia techen any tidatus nangyori chazan tizunal yan tagaran sundigidu and trin dinal mixe ge koran ki tanda hungary ki silver victor orban longdan chen da koran gi sungmes yene victor orban ki an koran ya den sunjons kedi ani that america na la sinzin di and donald trump yobina gyana da ursu niga shegres ani penetration da kurang bezun chusonason ani tanda george bush sinzin na be kudu dala russia ki georgia ma javris sinzin obama ki leyun liya russia crimea na ma javre ani sinzin biden ki leyun liya ta tanda ukraine ki tanda ngogishan da tholiya to dichigi yoris ani Quran Chashabina and the Chankoria ki Guti, Kim Jong un Yamdoya, Devayawu, any Devachawaya does a negari, Kanda Zumbling Gang in the Quran Sinzi in a Yungumare, any Gang Manguchi, ya near Kavadani, said 2 years, Chento Sonson, Kanja Manzo again, Stark Gavishush Nagdo. Take Manzo Duzum, Star Chambore, and Kamen Dozolia, Stargi Gavishta Nagdo.
레다 나지단 드링 된다지게 고샵 트럼기 땀시에 나라 야나콜라 대점지 까면낭마 송데 임바이네 다신지 수바 고샵 트럼 신지 당분낭베기 값소 야나네 아메리게 나라 우소 낭진 시신바 망부지기 테라 간다 고제 파마 망부지 계획이 니주 침부지 중요래 값디디 다 야나다 아메리게 팔라 총대기 간다 막답 유배기 다 트레이드 와 슈그로 와 당다 인게 나라 혼자도 용다게 디 랍디기도 와 총대 통에 캐나다 아메리게 팔라 막답 유배 콜라 디시 gemge지에 망부 연구열에 대가나시 딱 또임 님데 딱 조대 통화대 캐나네 중화직 망부지기 문지치기 유디 잠바 고셰 트럼기 용다기 살빌 현좀다 디제 갑라 수메 갑소 캐나기 네불라니 간다 부지치디기열에 디지 잠바 믹시기 고셰 트럼기 캐나기 테라 랑조 하장 책보 아니 또 몽발라 신지 토바이나 야나네 뮤소 낭딘 치시마 망부 테라 고제 하장 파마 지 칸다 게 임베게 칸다 켈린디데 난거도 야나 테라 랑조 하장 책보 등기 요바지 다 단대처라 니든 치시바 망부지기 문진 치기도 대가나시 또 드링기 지게 기용 지든 초백이 기용 현존 값수 조치와디 다 아메리게 미망 용소바 직대 용해 테라 다 팀 슈그와 한다 디기 닝딩기 달렌도데 아메리게 미망 용조 직대 체네 다 한다 니고에다 직대 체네 몽베기 신지 유드나라 차실린 거와 딘데 테라 다 스쿠샵 트럼자 마레 디 콩라 신지 지게 딘드 칸다 딘드 신지 슈바 지디 벤스케 카멘나 요레 테가나시 다 디캅수 지게 아메리게 트레조 투미 아니 시경 수르바 시경 레도바 안 테가나시 미망 망부지게 땀신나메 값수 쪼체와데 딘데텔라 미거 체와직 망부지게 문지 치기도 테가나시 양직 로산라 니야 ngazo tonang majungwa 믹세 드링쿠샵 트럼기 카멘나와데 숭에로드니 요에
즉 디레다 즉 망고제 베제단데 디 군조스는 겸내 군조스 전니 디 쇼지게 쇼첨보 망고 베제단 손 변차샤나 다른 군조랑 가 껴봐마도 내 사제델레닝에 계지시에 두야 되는 용양 그런 요 말으신 다디 고된데 갈당 거스나 사변배 년이야 그런기 메데장에 지기 메데 잡친 그런 년조 비아 켜봐마도 그때 고소 정도 제백이 딱 내든지 어쩌는 게 요리 디게 아니 군조랑게 아껴버렸으니 송야디 커뮤니티 스타게 내가 전부 책이 요 가르스나 신진 수바 트럼단 지진 소베기 아니 리아 위쇼 루켄다 위쇼게 잡여치게 망고직 단다 이슈기 출루나네 아니 스타게 최대 전부 요게 군조 리아 그뒤네 군조기 그딘리스천 시대야 당 도스 이지체 등엔 도스 인도 안 다른 무슨 쿠란레 지금 랑싱기 라트에서 군조랑 아껴선 사마직 미수인에 되는 중국의 상구도 아니 신지 트럼라데 쿠란 다른 땡땡 초와된데 제 중요하라 아니 망조 응에네 마게 망조 응에네까 안 딘데지 가면 되죠 망조 로레 주고 요래라 원데 도지 차베기 간제 튜니 딘데지 토니 커뮤니티 군조 다른 교버스는 다 군조 거딘이 소양 소바 디망고 송송 안디 직 개체지 차대 메로성도 페진 딱 그사르들라디 토니 단당한저 카바톤 체빈서리 안한저 드린 장신学디 다와 참조 쇼긴이 안나버즈기 단당한저기 년팅디 토네도 단다 아메리게 첩시단 신진 위드 네든리아 투나나바 투지체슨 주긴 안디톨리아 계지셔야 등에 직시에 단다 그사르들라기 직시에 또 제어마도 갑니야 찰레나긴 조직 ngazo tanda trajadan tindonlia tunana tugunanke antanda de tudensinla chati yu tamishiku sanitla to speso and gundu ngazo senkinam solia shualia ngazo trajadan anta model soba digitalia tunana rona kusarinzla kan kyuksenga kan cheson di ngeji shishabi
re yina yin lao ta düzüge gele lirimde ta dene sam shago togodo ngazo american nangla thade chala 공주기 추세 중니다 제가 된 심두고도 제네 아니 로상랑도 드링기 리림데 참샤게 나버서 ngazo lirim sense 나와라 투치 쇼다야 지게 ngazo lirim 제막하게 나라라 양지 참시된자고
그래서 투치 참아